Hey, I found this outside. I don't know what it was, but it looks football-y.
It's ours, yeah. Thank you.
It was in the parking lot.
Perfect. That's what we like to do, keep our scripts in the parking lot.
That's it. That's a good place for them. Sensitive information.
I don't think anyone could be. Yeah, there's some more tails in it.
Ready to roll?
Yeah, man.
All right. Welcome to the Mike Frederick Show. I'm Sean Lerman, along with head coach of the Neshaminy Redskins, Mike Frederick. This show brought to you by 1490 WBCB and Aria Health. Neshaminy coming off of a big 29-10 win at Souderton. Coach, that was a really good one. Has to feel good.
Yeah, it was our first win on the road. They're tough to get. Souderton's a very well-coached team, very sound. They have a lot of underclassmen that are starting. We knew we had to jump on them pretty early and wanted to kind of break the trend of the last couple of weeks of getting behind by 14 and having to work our way back. It was a really nice win. All aspects of the football game, offense, defense, special teams, all contributed.
You talk about special teams and defense especially giving you really good field position. I felt like the field position really gave you guys an edge early in the game.
Yeah, we talked about it pregame and just sort of pulled DeAndre aside and said, "What do you think? I mean, if we get the ball, do you want to jump out to a quick start?" And he said, "We gotta support this defense, and we gotta show them we believe in them." And so we wanted to defer and let the defense get out there and get a quick 3 and out. Is sort of what we had talked about was what played out, with the exception of they won the toss and elected to take the ball. So we got what we wanted without winning the toss. And defense went out there, 3 and out, a couple of big hits on that first drive, got us good field position, and obviously DeAndre, second play of the game, 80 yards, and that's how you like to start these things.
And after that DeAndre run, just a couple minutes later, Cale Kitchenman, big interception return. Not usually the big play type, but had a big one here.
Yeah, I mean I think we had 2 or 3 turnovers on our side of the ball, plus the punt block, and those are the plays you need to make. We're sort of one play away the last couple of weeks, where if we could have gotten a play like that, obviously Penridge, we got the defensive touchdown return. This one could have gone to the end zone as well. We worked on picking up. Usually the quarterback or the intended receiver make the tackle, and in this case, certainly the quarterback made the play. Cale had a real solid game. I'd like to see him get some success here. Senior, 1-year starter. Those are the kind of guys that you really look forward to down the stretch here, playing out their high school careers in a real positive way.
I was talking to Cale a little bit after the game, and he was kind of upset that he got caught by the quarterback. Did he get a bit of a hard time from the rest of the guys?
No, we had people there to block the quarterback, and we try to keep things pretty positive. I think if anything, we did a little bit of joking about the people that were out front there and had a chance to look up the quarterback. It's a sensitive issue. We understand that the quarterback statistically and the intended receiver make the most plays on interception returns, but obviously officials, referees, they do their very best to protect the quarterback. So you want to look them up because they make the play. You want to block them cleanly and fairly. I think we have a couple of guys who'd like to have that particular opportunity back to at least get a good block on the quarterback. I think Cale scores. Also on the defensive side of the ball, another big game from Bruce Graber. He's really starting to make an impact up front. Yeah, Bruce is is a solid player inside. He's getting better week after week. He's relatively new in his understanding of the football game. He and Evans at defensive tackle, 2 first-year starters in there, haven't played a whole heck of a lot of football, and what they do and their ability to clog the middle, and their understanding of the game, their football sense. they need to continue to work on that aspect of it. But physically, they're fine. They can hold up, and if not just hold up, I mean, they could be outstanding players in this league. The sort of the football acumen side of it, things that just don't come natural to people who haven't had a lot of reps and haven't played the game a lot, is where they need to spend a lot of their time, and they have been.
Sticking with the defensive side of the ball, obviously Matt Magdalinskis just continues to really play well. He's all over the field, seems to be the team leader in tackles almost every week.
Yeah, and I think he is. I think he certainly has got the most tackles year to date. He made a couple of plays on the edge that were key and important for us, and where he took on a couple of blockers and made the tackle. He had two big hits, one on that first drive, which sort of set the tempo of, I don't know what you expect out of the Neshaminy defense today, but they came to play. And that was, it was really nice to see. Kyle Smith on the other side, we've been having a little trouble with the screen pass. They tried to open the game with it. He stayed home, made a nice hit on the kid. I thought both of them played well on the edge.
Yeah, Kyle, absolutely. He seems like he's really been coming along the last few weeks, having a nice season.
Yeah, just getting better and better. And what you'll see is, you don't want kids to make the same mistake week after week. And with Kyle, teams are challenging him. They'll see a mistake that he makes, not because of effort. He's a guy that he wants to give you everything he has. He's just not seen some of these things before. He was a corner a year ago. And now we have him in at strong side linebacker. And what's great about him so far is that it tends to be able to correct the mistakes when they happen. And we'll see similar plays week after week. And the first week they might get him on it, and then Soderton ran a couple of plays specifically based upon what Penridge had done a couple of weeks earlier to take advantage of the aggressiveness of our outside guys. And Kyle stayed home and made a couple of real nice plays.
I think a lot of that is a credit to you and the rest of the coaching staff, taking both Matt Magdalinskis and Kyle Smith, who were defensive backs last year, and now they're playing really well at the linebacker position, having good seasons. Something else that I noticed in the game, the penalties seemed way down. You guys played pretty much mistake-free football. Most of the penalties were called against Soderton.
Well, we're trying to emphasize that. It really hurt us up at Penridge, specifically on the road. You got to be careful. You got to play within the framework of the rules, and it's one of those things you try to emphasize. And we eliminated some of the silly free mistakes, the offsides, some of the things that even hurt us the last week against CB South, where you have a substitution penalty and then you have an offsides, and it goes from 4th and 7 to a first down. That just, those types of things can't happen if you want to win football games. So we do try to emphasize that, and week after week, you hope you see improvement. I can't say as we've had improvement week after week, but this was a good week for us, and I think the guys played hard, played tough, played within the boundaries of the rules, and were really well disciplined for going on the road against a really well coached football team.
DeAndre continuing to just break out and really play well, but if you talk to him, the first thing he always says is, well, I have to give credit to my offensive line, and that line has really started to come together as a unit working together.
Yeah, they really have, and I think DeAndre, again, we mentioned it before, but he's a true team player. He's not he's not hanging his head and going from 3,000 yards to whatever it's going to be this year. Knowing that teams are ganging up against him. He's got a young offensive line that, I don't want to use the word young, inexperienced, because nobody's young anymore. And his willingness to be patient with them and work with them and not get frustrated that the holes that were there last year with a senior-dominated line, they either don't develop or they don't develop quite as quickly. So give DeAndre a lot of credit. He's the ultimate team guy, and I wish we had him for a couple more years or the next 10. That's what makes the NFL so great. We could ink him to a nice long-term deal.
There you go.
But that offensive line is, they really are coming together, and they're playing better each and every week. They've got a great offensive line coach. Coach Wilmot does a real nice job with them, and he's sort of, he sort of has predicted their progress and said it's going to take a little bit of time, and you'll watch as they start to play together better and communicate better, and real proud of what they've done. They got to continue to get better. The opponents, if anything, are just just going to get more difficult here in the next couple of weeks.
One more thing on the offensive side as well before we take a break here. Billy Ritchie, he's back. He looked really good, at least from up in the booth. It seemed like he was having a nice game, had some really good blocks, a couple of catches. How great is it to have Billy back in the lineup?
Oh, it's nice, and it hurt us to have him out. You know, he's a two-way starter. It really helps on the point of attack when it comes to blocking in the running game, and it makes a big difference. It was, you know, we did our best to replace a guy like that, and you know, I think when you don't have the depth that you hope you would have, it's really difficult because a guy like Billy goes down, you're replacing two starters. You know, typically not with one person, right? So you really are starting to. That's when your depth shows, right? With injuries and things like that. Billy came back quicker than expected. We know he worked his tail off, you know, with the physical therapy side of it. He looks better blocking than he did before he left. And then just his aggression and his emotion on the defensive side of the ball, I think, is contagious. So I'm thrilled he's back, believe me.
All right, well, we'll step aside, take a quick break, be back with more of the Mike Frederick Show, presented by ARIA Health and 1490 WBCB, right after this.
The ARIA 3B Orthopedic Institute is redefining care in Center City and South Jersey. And our 50,000 square foot location on ARIA Health's Bucks campus in Langhorne features private rooms, free parking, and nearby hotels. With over a century of experience, the world-class 3Bs, Doctors Booth, Bartolozzi, Balderston, and their partners personally guide you from treatment through recovery. For all your orthopedic needs, call 1-888-ORTHO-3B or visit aria3bortho.org. At the ARIA 3B Orthopedic Institute, you come first.
If you are looking for a car, where do you go? Faulkner Auto Group at 4427 Street Road in Trevose is where to go for the best deals in Bucks County for all your new pre-owned cars, trucks, or SUVs. Go to Faulkner Auto Group. It's always Faulkner, to be sure. Go online to faulknerautogroup.com. Just remember, it's Faulkner, to be sure, for all your new cars or trucks. 4427 Street Road in Trevose. Faulkner, to be sure.
Welcome back to the Mike Frederick Show. I'm Sean Lerman, the show presented by 1490 WBCB and ARIA Health, along with head coach of the Neshaminy Redskins, Mike Frederick, the team getting set for a matchup at Ben Salem this week. Ben Salem has had a bit of a tough season so far, I know, because I went there, so I've been following the team a bit. They were able to score 20 points against Souderton. What do you see when you look at Ben Salem's offense?
On the offensive side of the ball, they have some athletes. They have some guys that can beat you with speed and athletic ability. You know, they've had a tough time winning the turnover battle. You know, obviously, I think they're coaches, and we know them well. I mean, Coach Kelly was here briefly before he got the job over there, and he's got a couple of sons in our program, and then on the 9th grade level. Very well respected as a coach. I know they had some injuries at the quarterback position. Those are tough ones to overcome. You know, I think this is one of those games where you really, really have to make sure your team is ready to go because the other team is capable, highly capable of beating you. You know, they have the ability to do so, and you know, you don't want your team to take them lightly because in this league, you know, week after week, the opponent's good enough to beat you, which is why the buses show up and you feed the kids and you get on the buses and you go play the games. So we're expecting their best effort. You know, we're not, we're obviously emphasizing our team. We have to take care of the football, win the turnover battle. They're obviously, expressing the same thing to their players. You know, they've had 10, 12, 15 play drives. So we know they can do it and they can move the ball offensively. We're going to see a lot of spread. You know, they move the ball around, they do some zone read. I'm not sure what's going on currently for them at the quarterback position, but you know, I think they've had their quarterbacks you know, been there now for a couple of weeks after some injuries, so they're just going to be more and more comfortable.
So as a team gets more comfortable despite those struggles, obviously it's important to key in on that a little bit.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's no doubt. I mean, we're gonna make them beat us throwing the ball. You know, they have the speed and some of the skill positions. They've got a couple of nice linemen as well. I mean, they've got a tackle who is very impressive on tape. They've got some big guys who, you know, we're gonna have to defend. And you know, just like anything else, I mean, they hit you for a zone read play that goes for a long number. They have the athletic ability to stay with you and make plays, and that's what as far as our job as coaches is to make sure you try to keep your team away from just looking at the records. If you do, you can make a major mistake, which is not play your best, not give your best effort, and lose. And I was a part of one of those teams here that lost to a team that was having a real tough time and struggling. And we went on the road, and we didn't take care of business, and we ended up losing 7-6. So it can happen. We're going to get over there, and we're going to try to make sure that our guys are absolutely not going to take them lightly.
On the defensive side of the ball, what are some of the things that Ben Salem likes to do?
Yeah, that's a great question, and it's a great question for Coach Kelly. You can tell, are very flexible in what they do. We've seen the past 3 games, they've run 3 separate fronts on defense. And that's a tribute to them that they can actually do that, change schemes, and I'm sure some of the fundamentals of what they teach their guys remains the same, but they ran a 3-man front, predominantly a 3-man front for the majority of the game. I'm going to get the teams mixed up off the top of my head, but I believe that was against Central Bucks South, where they don't use a lot, they don't play a lot of a tight end front, so they had a real good game plan to try to spread out and stay even with them. Against Pennsbury, they ran predominantly a 5-man front. You get tight looks, tight formations. And then against North Bend, they were in predominantly a 4-man front. So we've had to prepare for all of it. I give them credit, the fact that they can line up week after week after week and change the alignments, change the fronts. You can tell they're battling their tails off, and we respect them immensely. We had a college coach who went and saw one of their games and said, just providing not any kind of feedback other than it was in the second half and these kids were flying around. So we're expecting their best game. We're expecting a hostile environment. We're understanding that we need to win the turnover battle. We're preparing for 3 separate fronts and then multiple looks on offense. So, as far as our coaching staff and what they've had to prepare for, I give it to Ben Salem, and they've made our week a long one.
Yeah, a busy week, it sounds
Yes,
like.
sir.
Different looks on offense and defense. You mentioned a hostile environment going into Ben Salem. On the road for a couple of weeks here. I know it's not the NFL where you're traveling by plane from city to city, but does playing on the road a few weeks in a row have any effect on the players?
Well, I think playing on the road, you just have to be that much sharper to win a game because people are more comfortable. They're comfortable with the whole environment.